School safety is at the top of our minds, but at what cost?
Florida continues to fight the impacts of Hurricane Ian.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Avery Callens.
And I'm Sebastian Nava. Shocking images are pouring in from Florida following Hurricane Ian's arrival. This video shows flooding on the Florida Turnpike in Orlando. The Category 4 hurricane has already knocked out power for almost 2.5 million people in the area and has already claimed the life of one victim. Authorities have been combating the high waters with military vehicles and airboats in order to rescue civilians caught in the knee-deep floods. The area remains under flash flood warnings after reportedly expecting rainfall to reach from 12 to 20 inches.
Denton Municipal Electric has offered to aid those impacted by Hurricane Ian. ntTV's Isabella Quintanilla is currently out on the field in front of the Denton Municipal Electric building with more on the story. Isabella?
Thanks, Avery. As Hurricane Ian devastates the state of Florida, people across the U.S. are sending aid to help with the aftermath. Our own Denton Municipal Electric has sent a group of 17 employees down to Lakeland, Florida to offer their services and help with the restoration. There are currently power outages all along the coast and across the state of Florida. And as you can see on this map, the city of Lakeland only has around 50% power right now, which is still better than a lot of other areas. On top of the power outages, there is also a massive flooding, leaving many Floridians who stayed during the hurricane trapped, much like we were here in Texas during the 2021 snowstorm. Now that's all I have for today. Let's check in with our weather anchor, Gabby Cardin, to see if we have any updates. Gabby?
Yeah, I agree. I felt it on the way in. But let's see what Gabby has in store for us for the rest of the day.
Guys, yeah, these temperatures are starting to cool down a little bit, but nothing too significant, unfortunately. We are having some high wind speeds at 15 miles per hour, but as you can see, it's not really affecting our feel like and actual temperature. Today we're sitting at 75 degrees, like I said, with that 15-mile-an-hour wind. As we go into tonight, the temperature's actually going to get hotter to 82 degrees, if you can believe it, and those wind speeds are luckily going to drop a little bit to 11 miles per hour. Now, as we get into tomorrow, around 10 a.m., our temperatures are going to change a little bit. They're going to get to 67 degrees, and those wind speeds are going to continue to drop throughout this week to 8 miles per hour. I'll have more on all weather in Texas in our forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. When we return, school faculty speak out on concerns of safety following the tragedy in Uvalde.
And the UNT Collab on the Square has some art to share. Stay tuned.
Media. We take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
UNT is more than 125 years in the making. To find new solutions, we create a new point of view. We know what's possible when creativity, originality, and independent thought converge. We're ranked a Tier 1 research university. We're home to excellence the size of Texas. Define your future at UNT and soar to new heights.
President Joe Biden explains that the nation state presents a gun violence epidemic in light of several recent school shootings, including the one in Uvalde. Texas lawmakers have responded by encouraging more school districts to arm their employees. ntTV's Noemi Sanchez spoke with Randy Weingarten, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, to see how educators feel about the new push for this program.
The same people who have said that they don't trust us to teach, to do the things we're trained to do, now, because they don't want to take guns off the streets, are trying to get us to be armed. It's insane.
After the school shooting in Uvalde, the Texas American Federation of Teachers surveyed over 5,000 educators. 77% stated they would not want to be armed. Apart from teachers, the director of the Texas School Safety Center has stated that adding more guns in schools could make shooting scenarios more dangerous and difficult when needing to identify the shooter. In an interview with the Texas Tribune, Kathy Martinez-Prather said, quote, "When an officer shows up to the school and there's a shooting and you have a firearm, they're not going to ask if you're a guardian." Since its establishment in 2013, the Texas School Marshal Program has received continuous state funding. Despite being in place for almost a decade, less than 300 school employees have taken advantage of this program. Gretchen Grigsby, Director of Government Relations at the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, expands on those numbers.
There's currently 62 school districts that have school marshals in place. Now, you look at the context of the large state entities that we've got across and the number of school districts across, and it's a relatively small percentage, but lots of districts are using different options. This is one of them.
Requirements to become a school marshal include an 80-hour training course, along with a psychological exam to receive approval. Even with training, armed adults could still mishandle their guns. According to information collected by the Gifford Law Center, some of the most notable reports in recent years include a high school teacher in California accidentally shooting 3 students during a public safety class, a substitute teacher's gun firing in a Florida elementary school after falling off his waistband, and a Michigan deputy's gun firing after a student tried to grab it. Despite concerns, Grigsby expresses that this program is something they see staying funded for years to come.
The biggest factor is time. And when you have somebody that is able to be there very quickly, that is really the biggest, I think, difference.
After the school shooting in Uvalde, Gretchen states that they saw a surprising increase in volunteers. The Texas Commission on Law Enforcement approved about 80 new marshals as students got ready to begin the new school year. You know, now that the wind is starting to blow outside, I wonder if fall is finally arriving.
I was feeling it on my way into the studio this morning. Let's see what our weather anchor, Gabby Carden, has for us in our weather forecast.
Yeah, Sebastian, I was also hoping that fall is coming, but it might not come for a little while longer, but I'll get in that in our 7-day forecast. For now, North Texas temperatures, Denton sitting at 75, like I said earlier, but most of the other North Texas cities are also sitting in those 70-degree marks, with Dallas and McKinney sitting at 74. But as we expand our view out to the state, those 80-degree marks start to pop up. We see Austin at 83, Abilene at 86, and Amarillo up there at 84 degrees. So like I said, fall temperatures, Texas can't really make up its mind right now. But let's get into the 7-day forecast. Right now, we are going to have some sunny skies all the way until Sunday, where we're going to have some partly cloudy stuff come into play. Tuesday is also going to be sunny, but Wednesday we have those partly cloudy skies return. The highs, as you can see, all sit in the mid to high 80s, with the exception of Thursday, being around 84 as today. The lows sit at 50 degrees the whole time up until Wednesday, where we get that 61-degree low. So we are going to have some chillier days throughout this 7-day forecast, as I'm saying. But Wednesday, we are going to have those temperatures start to rise up a little bit with that low and that high mark getting higher than the rest of the forecast. That's all I have for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. The UNT CoLab is hosting a new art exhibit at their Denton Square location. ntTV's Abe Park, Austin Hedgecoth, and Grayson Love has more on the story.
CoLab. And what we do here in this space is offer a bridge from the campus to the community with art, retail, and events, and student learning opportunities. A lot of times we are kind of the launching pad for somebody who's starting a new business, and often we're the first time that they actually get their products into a boutique environment. So we're really helping that entrepreneur kind of get their product into the marketplace. It's important that we're elevating the community and UNT equally. So I think the best thing is, did they have an enjoyable time? Did they potentially learn something about UNT or about the community or a local artist? And did we potentially get new products into their hands that goes back to supporting local and elevating those community members as well?
Now that photograph that you see behind me is actually a lily pond at a castle in Ireland. It was dawn one morning and saw this beautiful light on this pond and the lilies and shot it, and I just, squirreled it away and thought about it one day, I wonder what I can do with that. So that's what's fun, is taking everyday scenes and everyday objects and turning them into something that you may not realize that there's something there. And that's the fun part of it.
For ntTV News, I'm Grayson Love.
UNT CoLab is open from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. from Tuesdays to Saturdays. The exhibit will be open until the end of the day this Saturday. Coming up, our sports anchor Gabby Pippins is here to talk about what UNT fans need to know.
And an exclusive interview with Dallas's first ever Poet Laureate coming up after the break.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
Earlier this year, Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson named Joaquin Zihuatanejo the city of Dallas's first ever Poet Laureate. I got an opportunity to sit down with him to talk about how his family and his Hispanic heritage shaped him for this honor. Since his days in the East Dallas neighborhood, Joaquin Zihuatanejo has been telling the stories of him and his family growing up in the barrio.
It's the kind of neighborhood that people would lock their doors and drive a little faster to get through, but I wish they would have slowed down, you know, because if they would have just slowed down or pulled over, they would have found places like Yerisu Mercado, or they would have found places like Roy Hernandez's barber shop.
When thinking back on his old neighborhood, he reminisces on what used to be there.
The little casita that my abuelo rented, like he didn't own, like he never had the opportunity to own a home. He rented this little casita, and it was on the corner of Henderson and Belmont, Henderson Ave and Belmont. And now, it's long since been torn down. It's gone. It's been erased, except from my memory and from the poems and the stories that I write about it. That's how it still exists. And now it's been replaced by a high-rise condominium stack. And I think someone told me that it's like $2,200 a month to live there. And in a way, it, you know, I know change is inevitable. I mean, it's going to happen. But it still doesn't mean it doesn't have to break your heart a little bit, you know?
In his early work, Zihuatanejo carried on his abuelo's legacy by performing the legends he would tell him through slam poetry.
This is a suit. Specific litigation representing we, the Chicano nation, we, La Raza, we, the descendants of Joaquin Murrieta, and we bring this suit in his name.
He was overwhelmed by white Western settlers who ended up taking his land and taking his mine, his silver mine, gold mine, and taking his home and taking the life of his family and leaving him to tell the story of what would happen to those that resisted. And they made one mistake. They left him. I want to honor Joaquin Murrieta by living a just and good life, by fighting for those who can't fight for themselves, by giving voice to people who some people think are voiceless in my poems, in my essays, in my storytelling.
Now, from an office on the 3rd floor of the Central Library in downtown Dallas, Zihuatanejo is committing himself to the next generation of poets.
It's an honor that I don't take lightly. I feel like this city shaped my work, and I owe this city everything that I can give it. And so I haven't said no to anything yet. Just whenever anybody, I'm like, yes, I'll be there, you know?
Zihuatanejo is currently working on a new poetry book called Occupy Whiteness that will come out next spring.
Coming off the success of her new movie, Nope, Keke Palmer briefly stopped in Denton to give a talk as part of UNT's Distinguished Lecture Series. ntTV's Andrea Valdez spoke to the actress about her experience on the movie and working with director Jordan Peele.
Nope is like just another scale, you know what I mean, with Jordan Peele and obviously Universal and all the history they have with blockbusters. This was a crazy experience. So one half of it was just being on the set, having more time than you usually would have and being able to, you know, do stunts and just all that kind of stuff. And then also the other half of it is all the press and all the the stuff afterwards that you do to promote the movie. So it was like a whirlwind. I feel like I was like, I just stopped spinning, you know?
Coliseum actress, starting out from a young age in the industry and her journey as one of the most successful Black actresses in modern entertainment. You know, this weekend is actually family weekend at UNT, and I cannot tell you how excited my family is to see their first UNT football game.
You know, mine too. It's actually become kind of a tradition for us to go every year. But let's see what else is happening in the sport world with our sports anchor, Gabby Pippins.
That's right, we will be discussing all things NFL and how family and fun will combine Friday night for a weekend full of football.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
It needs to be out, even though it looks ugly. It needs to be out so we can hear you. We heard you there.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Near Sanctus Spiritus.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Hey, Maddie, miss me?
Wait, Bud?
What was that all about?
An old friend.
An old friend?
Good to see you, brother.
What the hell are you doing?
That's your lucky day.
Alvin Kamara, a running back for the New Orleans Saints, has had his trial date moved back for the 4th time. He is currently facing felony and misdemeanor battery charges related to an incident that occurred in Las Vegas earlier this year, and his new trial date is scheduled for October. He missed today's trial due to being in London for the Saints-Vikings game on Sunday, and the one before was missed because he attended practice instead of going to the courtroom. And for his original court date, he simply did not show up. Because he has failed to show up to court 3 times, the NFL will most likely continue to wait until a proper sentencing before enforcing any punishments. Speaking of the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys faced off against NFC East rivals, the New York Giants, on primetime Monday Night Football. Cooper Rush took the field for Dak Prescott again, and fans got excited to get another glimpse of Rush Hour. The game started off slow with the quarter ending 3-0, but the second half was a field goal showdown, with Cowboys and Giants each kicking a field goal, ending the half 6-3. The Giants came back from the half with confidence as Graham Gano kicks a second field goal and Saquon Barkley scores a touchdown, giving the Giants an edge. But Ezekiel Elliott gets into the end zone to tie things up at 13. And Rush Hour takes off in the 4th quarter with an amazing one-handed catch by CeeDee Lamb to end the game 23-16. And UNT's Family Weekend kicks off this Friday with family, food, and fun. The weekend will begin with Scrappy's Extravaganza, a fun family gathering with food and the UNT band to get families fired up for the game against Florida Atlantic the next day. The night will conclude with desserts provided by the UNT Parent Association and a movie night on the Rollins and Coliseum lawn. Saturday begins bright and early with the Family Fun Run, which takes parents and families through campus on a fun race, and a President's Breakfast will be provided shortly after. Several other activities will be available throughout the afternoon, and the main attraction begins at 3 p.m. as UNT takes on FAU. This fun-filled weekend will end with a farewell breakfast the next day. That's all I've got for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Today is National Coffee Day, but unfortunately the line at Starbucks was too long for me to enjoy it this morning, which is understandable because as a Starbucks barista myself, I have an addiction to that pumpkin cream cold brew.
Well, you and my dad both, today's his birthday, so I really hope he got the chance to, grab a nice cup of coffee in order to celebrate. So, cheers to that. Thanks for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tomorrow here on North Texas Television.